My pleasure to have the gentleman to my left and your right is one of the greatest coaches in all the sports, and he is a Naismith Basketball Hall of Famer. Also, he's led his Duke Blue Devils to 4 NCAA championships, 11 Final Fours, and also is a 3-time gold medalist as well, leading 2 of the USA basketball teams. My pleasure to have Coach Mike Krzyzewski. Nice to meet you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's always great to be in New York. It's such an electric time. It's usually electric in New York, but during the holiday season, it's even better. And then to have the opportunity to play in the NIT and in Madison Square Garden is really a special treat for our program.
I wanted to have you talk about the style of play of the Duke Blue Devils this season. Amazing how it's kind of like transformation, more transition basketball, more up and down the floor, but still, with emphasis on perimeter shooting. Talk about how this group of players are really athletes that you're able to really have that diversity with.
Well, we adjust our system, I think, to the people that we have each year. So I think a leader should always adapt to the talents that he has or she has, and we have an athletic team. We're much more of an offensive team right now than a defensive team. Our defense isn't very good right now, but we have scored points, and sometimes that's at the detriment to defense because you can fall into a thing that I can score more than you, and really good teams try to defend and score more than you, not score more than you. So with our team, the word defense has to be introduced a little bit more. But we have a good group of kids. They're young, and so we're still developing into a team.
Coach Anthony Grant of Alabama, I mentioned to him earlier that his VCU Rams provided the upset of Duke years back in the NCAAs, and this is the first time you both are meeting. So how is that matchup going to be from the standpoint of strategies between the both?
Yeah, well, the past to me means nothing in the present, because the present is about the kids that you coach right now. So we've been upset a number of times since I've been a coach, and we've upset people, and we've won and we've lost, and those things do not matter at all when you're playing in a game this season, because it's not like having the whole Laker team back or the whole Heat team back. Everybody's new, and Anthony's done a great job at Alabama. He's an outstanding coach. They have one of the best guards in the country in Relaford, and he'll be a load to defend. And they're off to a really good start, and we're anxious to have the opportunity to play against them.
I remember there was something very interesting that you said to your USA basketball team. 2012, I believe, when you mentioned about totem pole, not the vertical totem pole, but the horizontal totem pole. Elaborate more on that message and how you've used that message with your players along the years.
Well, it means everybody's important. In other words, a lot of people look at whether it's a business, family, or whatever it is, TV station, a program. This person is more important than another because of their status on the team. And if you look at it that way, then you have people who feel better about themselves and not so good about themselves. But if everybody feels important, then your team's going to feel better. And that'll be even better for the person who is the most talented. And so on the teams that have been really successful that I've coached, the guys who are really good have made it possible for other people to be really good. And they've been very unselfish in the spotlight. The spotlight goes on all of us, and it'll go brighter on all of us if everyone is important. And obviously it'll always go brighter than on the guy who does the best in that as an individual in that collective setting.
I remember everyone knows the overwhelming success of your career at Duke, but people forget about the first couple of seasons where you were really trying to find your identity, replacing Bill Foster, and share with the audience how you were able to not wither away from what you wanted to instill in the program.
Well, we like a lot of people are not born into riches. You you have to go through tough times. My first 3 years, we were 38 wins and 47 losses, and there was some word out there, I might not continue as coach, but I had the amazing support of my university, my president, my AD, the key people at Duke, and as a result, we worked as a team, and it became really good. In fact, it became very special, and I've tried to continue to have those relationships because everybody's important. Not one person is the one that is totally responsible for success. And I've loved being at Duke. And one of the reasons I've stayed at Duke is because they had commitment to me at a time when commitment was not convenient. There's convenient commitment, and there's commitment that's not very convenient. And they had it when it was not very convenient.
I want to talk about your loyalty towards your former players, being able to have assistants, have them come back as assistants like Johnny Dawkins and Jeff Capel and Steve Wojciechowski, et cetera, et cetera. Really explain how that's important to you and how these young men are indebted to you to be able to come back and to help you make a difference.
Well, I don't know if they're indebted, just like a son or daughter is not indebted to their parents. I don't know if a parent would want their kids to be indebted to them. They would just want them to love them and appreciate the fact that they were with them. What we've tried to do in our program is build a family. And for me to have the opportunity to, coach them as young men and then see them, whether they become professional basketball players or professionals in some other walk in life, and then become men, and then to be their friends, to become friends with them, I think has been fabulous for me. I get much more from it than I could ever give.
I wanted to ask you too about the NBA. You've had so many offers throughout your career, and you've been able to show that you can lead professional athletes at the highest level, and they have so much respect for you. How come you haven't taken that challenge at all yourself?
Well, I love the NBA. I think David Stern, over his last 3 decades, has built an amazing thing, and then Adam Silver will continue to do it. And obviously, he's been David's right-hand man for a number of years. I love the NBA. I just love college more, and I think in order to figure out what you want to do with your career, whether you're a high school coach, a junior college coach, small college, or whatever it is, going up doesn't mean that it's better for you. And it doesn't mean that it's really up. In other words, I think, Bob Hurley in this area, he's found a great niche, and he's helped so many kids and become one of the greatest coaches of all time, but just by coaching in high school. Yeah, and so I think it's important, for anybody in their walk of life to find out the area that they love, and they'll do that area better if they love that area and not get swept up with the emotion of having to satisfy, the public and say, well, you should do this and you should do that. You should do what you feel is in your heart, and that's what I've tried to do.
Last question for you. You've coached at Duke for around 34 years. Yes, I almost said 35. So somewhat close.
Here it's seeming like it so far.
But now that's over a generation. How have you been able to change with the times, especially with a different type of student athlete than the student athletes you recruited back in the early
well, that's a great question. Actually, it's a question that could lead to an entire 60-minute show or more.
Oh, that would be great. I don't mind.
Yeah, but and it's a great question, and I think it speaks to what a leader must do to adapt, or a parent must do to adapt. If you have like 6 kids and one of them's 18 and one of them's 3, the one you brought up at 18 the one at 3 is going to be brought up a little bit differently, and so you have to constantly adapt. And so over these 3 decades, a little bit over 3 decades, we've tried to adapt to the changing culture that these kids come from. while recognizing that they still want to develop the same values of honesty, teamwork, integrity, loyalty. All those things are alive and well with every generation, with every group of youngsters. It's just that they come from a little bit different culture. And so how you try to teach those values is going to be a little bit different. But it's a learning process, and sometimes by trial and error. And I've enjoyed that. Actually, it keeps you fresh. And it keeps you a little bit more current.
Right, with the pop culture and the music.
Well, not completely, but a little bit. At least I know some of the names, and you do have to be in their world. You know, for them, I'm 66 years old, and I coach kids who are 18 to 22, so I'm at least 3 times older than my oldest player. And so it's up to me to make some adjustments, not just for and they have to make adjustments too. So we adapt to one another.
Coach Krzyzewski, honor and privilege. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, take care. All right.